And we are back. Are you ready for a Sunday roast? Let's do this. All doing it's Sunday roast. We are so back to do this. It's been a hot minute since we done this. We have so many other things going on in our lives with Jarvis and Poppy and everyone else. We do have a life besides being a Manchester United supporter. If you know, you know. But we have a jam-packed show today, and today's show, it's the weekly review where we're gonna roast and toast. I mean, give carrot and the stick, you know, the realist way. And in tonight's show, we're definitely going to talk about what went on off the pitch with Manchester United. I mean, we have a 3-1 aggregate against Crystal Palace, if you really look at it. But what did we learn about this week? I mean, who's to blame? Are we going to sack the manager? Are we going to keep the manager? Are we going to drop some players? And of course, we have to talk about the VAR that's in the mud. I mean, the shambles, they've been exposed regarding the Liverpool that actually got robbed. But what about in retrospective with Manchester United decisions as well? I mean, oh my God, what's going on? We absolutely got to talk about Marcus Rashford. What is going on with our Marcus Rashford? Every second season, Marcus Rashford. One season he's good, one season he's bad, one next season he's second to none. You know what I know? Like, you know, it is a little bit of a shambles, people. That's what it is. And you know, what should we do with Rashford? Should we dump him? Should we bench him? Should we make him hungry? Should we not serve him dinner? Should we put him on a diet for 3 days without eating anything so he becomes hungry and score goals? We're going to talk about that as well. We're absolutely going to talk about the Glazers Out movement because Glazer needs to go ASAP. Guys, please, if you haven't done that yet, smash a like on this video. Please, if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. It's free, people. Just hit those buttons. There's a lot of buttons down there because we're going to also look at a little bit about the Galatasaray. Actually, we're playing Galatasaray. Looking ahead. Listen, my guests are jam-packed in the background. I have Jarvis just pulled in his driveway. I have Poppy waiting there all the way from Boston, USA. Let's do this. Let's go for the Sunday weekly roast.
I need you to promise me that you'll be on your best behavior. I promise.
How are you doing?
Oh my God!
You doing, Jarvis? That's the question.
Hey.
You're right. Yeah, we're licking the wounds like my
licking
cat.
The wounds.
Licking the wounds. Where's the
terrible.
salt? Tequila. Salt and tequila.
Oh, even
Yep.
better.
Yeah. No hangover today, right? After the yesterday's loss.
No.
Oh, good.
You know, we're starting to get used to it. We have lost like 3. How many games have we lost? 3? Is it 4? 4?
4, 3, 4.
Yeah. And we had a lucky win against Wolves, and we had a lucky win against Nottingham Forest. So in the end of the day, we could actually have lost like 5 or 6 games this season. So, but there's nothing else to do. We got to buckle up, lick our wounds, and get ready for the next game.
Yeah, true. We lost. Let's see. We lost 4 by this. We played 7, lost 4. You have 7-3, 0-4-7. We are currently sitting on a 10 spot, 9 points adrift from the leaders, Manchester City.
10
anyway,
for 10 Hag.
10. No, we're 9 points away from the leaderboard. To be honest, like City lost yesterday, they got slapped against Wolves. Spurs won 2-1. Where you know. No, was it Spurs? No, hang on. Who played yesterday?
Liverpool.
Yeah, it was Spurs, Liverpool. Yeah, they got robbed, Liverpool. Liverpool played with 9 men, right? They were hobbling around, and they had the VR on the side, and they're still with 9 men. They managed at the end of the day with their own goal by Matip. Matip absolutely did a Harry Maguire there, to be honest. What a melter.
Yeah, but they were under immense pressure. I saw a couple of last minutes. You know, Spurs were playing against 9 men. They were barricading Liverpool down in their own 18-yard box. So it is what it is, and Spurs won the game. But we have to address the VAR and how the referees could do like.
Oh, what a howler! We got to talk about that.
It's allowed for Liverpool. That was no offside.
Oh,
And
we also had some dodgy VRs that wasn't given by us. So I start to believe we started to sort of uncover this, Jarvis. We started to say, is this, a conspiracy theory, or is it actually some corruption theories? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
I wouldn't go so far. I think mostly it's incompetence. It's
Incompetence.
From the referees. They're old. They old people learning new technology. We know how that goes. Most of the
Are you
referees
calling me old? What the hell is going on with you?
Get out of here! Technology. How does this work? How do I press repeat? How do I make a line? They don't know what they do. It's incompetence. I think it is.
Hey, Jarvis, imagine those people in charge of the nuclear bombs in US or Russia pressed the wrong button and we screwed. Oh my God, we have a hot war all of a sudden. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Fair point, Jarvis, fair point. But listen, at the end of the day, we got to recap what's going on in the Premier League as well. If you look at the overall results, Aston Villa pumped Brighton with 6-1. And people were saying we should have De Zerbi. Well, eventually, Villa big up 6-1 to Brighton. No, 1-6 Brighton. Oh my God, what a melter. And of course, we had a 1-0 loss against Crystal Palace yesterday, which we definitely going to talk about a little bit. Newcastle then won against Burnley 2-1 at home, 2-0 at home. Wolves pumped City with 2-1. Wow, City dropped points. City dropped points. Wolves, they never scores. Woof, woof. Seriously. Arsenal are on the rise. They pumped Bournemouth away with 4-0. 4-0, to be honest. West Ham did a clanger as well, 2-0. So they are good on the table. Everton, on the other hand, lost against Luton Town, and Spurs won the 2-1. Forest played today. It was a draw, and tomorrow is the final game, which is Fulham-Chelsea, Jarvis. Table, as it stands today, the standing as it stands today, City on top of 18 points, followed by Spurs. Who would ever thought that Spurs with Ange in the first season would sit there? You remember we did a preview. I said, Ange is not going to
early days. It's just like a form table at the moment. It's 7 games in. So I don't even look at the table before we come to Christmas. So, it is.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. You don't look at this is like a false table, right? You look at the table when you come after Christmas. I mean, Premier League for me starts always after the Christmas break, the New Year break, because that's the final spurt, to be honest, right? Liverpool is currently sitting on 4th spot. Who would have thought Liverpool as well, with their recruitment? We were sitting here also, I put my hand up to say, but anyway, Liverpool got in the mud yesterday. Finally, VAR is against Liverpool. You shouldn't say that. You should never wish upon any rivals, when we get unfortunate rulings, right? We pay good money for those bloody referees, to be honest.
Do you want to talk about it? Should we address it
later?
And have a
later.
Discussion? Okay.
Yeah. Brighton's on 6th, Villa's on 5th. Newcastle there. West Ham has climbed up the table. Palace is above us, based on yesterday's result. But I wouldn't worry, and we're 10th spot early in the season, 7th game played. There's so many games to play left, to be honest. There is, right? So where are we? Are we going to talk about tomorrow's game? I mean, yesterday, listen, at the end of the day, what happened yesterday, right? It happened.
Well, it shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't happen.
No, I'm not happy. I still feel hurt when I think about the result. We shouldn't have lost that game at Old Trafford. It was a tough result to manage. It was, and especially because of what happened in the days before the game. We were talking about it. You and me, Mick. I was on Nuruddin's channel. We were talking about the same problems with Bruno and Rashford, and that he should play the youth and play with legs and continue what he discovered against Palace in Tuesday. So and it didn't happen. So we talked about it. Ten Hag needs to show courage and do the right things, but he didn't. So I'm very disappointed, but still, and I hope that Ten Hag will learn from this, that he will learn and do something else when we go forward from here.
That's the only thing we can do. The proof will be in the pudding, like moving forward from here. How are we gonna play? Because I said in our rant yesterday, why would you jinx a winning team? Like, why did you change four substitution, four teams for the team that won in the midweek against Palace? You had the recipe, like you had the, what do you call it in Swedish? We call facit, right? The
Yeah.
result, right? The polling result. You knew exactly what worked. You had the 3-0. You jinxed the team. You did four substitutions, and that didn't work out. And obviously, like what's his name, Roy Hodgson. Yeah, he also did the same thing. He said, "Well, we got pumped 3-0 at Old Trafford. Well, what's the recipe of going to Old Trafford? Park the bus, keep it narrow, keep it compact, and let them have possession. That's it. We're just going to hit them on the counter. And if we're lucky, we're going to get a set pieces because we know that Manchester United sucks at defending pieces,
Yeah.
set pieces. But Joachim Andersen's goal, there was nothing we can do. Would you say it's a defensive error, or was it just like a freakish goal? That was a beautiful goal, by the way.
It was a beautiful goal, yes. The clearance on the first post from I think it was Rasmus Højlund who was trying to head it away. It was an awful defensive work. So it's always, every goal is a error from someone, and that's just the way it is. But the goal at the end of the day, if he had taken 10 of those shots, I don't think 10, even one would go in. It was just one over 1,000 from Joachim Andersen. So
anyway, if we talk about VAR, we have to go to our own internal VAR as well, Jarvis. We're not alone here, are we? No.
We're not alone.
Big up for the VR room, everyone that's tuning in. Thank you for coming. It is the traditional Sunday roast, and Jarvis is drinking his coffee. Mick is drinking his coffee. Whatever you're drinking, raise your glass. Let's brush off yesterday's defeat and move forward. We got to instill a little bit of positivity. You're the family. You got to go with the family, Jarvis, right? The family. Big up Carlos that he made it raw in the house. Carlos is here. He said, I had enough of this ownership, everything else. Message me. We have new owners, please. Wake me up before it's over. YouTube algorithm, please don't infringe us for copywriting. Trust Erik ten Hag, but it's going to go anywhere with half of this squad overpaid. Half of this squad is injured, to be honest. Jamie Wayne is here in the house. Yale Mamin, he said, I'm tempted. Yale, I'm tempted to break myself into from this whole thing and come back when the club is sold. It's the same thing with the Avicii song. Wake me up when it's all over. I seen Mark Goldbridge to say the season is over. He did a rant. I was like, it's too early to say that, But one thing, it's very clear, peeps. One thing is very clear. We're going to touch about that in this podcast. That no matter what, you can put Pep Guardiola in there. You can put Jurgen Klopp. You can put any elite manager. But they would never succeed under the current Glazer ownership, right? We had 6 elite coaches. I wouldn't class Ole as an elite coach, right? But under the same stewardship, we would never succeed because there's no structure, there's no vision, right? Same with Chelsea. Potter had it good at Brighton. He had it good. But when he came to Chelsea, there was no backing on top of him. He failed. And now you see Pochettino is doing the same thing. He's failing. Because he has no backing above, right? They're going the same on the spending spree to assemble a squad, a mismatch of everything, but it's not working because they don't have a culture in place. What's your thoughts on that, Jarvis? Is there some similarities into that?
Well, if you allow me, I can sum up Ten Hag's career as a United manager. He came in after we were a mess. Ragninck and Solskjaer, after that season, everything, we fell apart. And Ten Hag came in, he steadied the ship. We won a lot of games. We started to play good football. Then Ronaldo happened. Piers Morgan interview, everything that hasn't to do with football. But Ten Hag, he ruled with the straight hand and fixed those problems. Ronaldo was out, and we continued. We had a lot of injuries, but we were fighting for the league in December, early January. But we had injuries. We didn't have any midfielders, and we lacked the striker because of Greenwood, because that also happened. Suddenly, and the board gives him Weghorst and Sabitzer. Injury-prone Sabitzer to fill in the midfield. We had no striker. Even then, Ten Hag made a good cup run. We lost the final in the FA Cup against Manchester City, who was the best team last season in the world. We won the League Cup. We came third top 3 in the Premier League. A lot of things happened. When we came to the summer, we went on the flying circus to the US. We flew all over the place.
Yeah.
A lot of players complained. Ericsson complained. Varane complained that they didn't get enough training and rest, and they didn't feel fresh. And we flew all over the place. We played a lot of games. We played 8 games in 1.5 months, 6 weeks. And we were training hard. And suddenly all the injuries struck. And we had the Greenwood saga hanging over us. We got the Sancho, Anthony De Santos, everything that Ten Hag couldn't concentrate on ruling and doing.
Yeah, and it's, at the same time, it's like you loading your.
And now we have a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries. 11 players injured, and people are saying Ten Hag out because he's doing a bad job. Up in all of this, no manager in the world would have done a better job than Ten Hag because of all that happened. Because we are a soap opera of a club. We gotta remember this. Yeah. So
facts. I mean, it's like loading up your dinner plate or your Sunday roast plate with roast, fish, everything that doesn't match. Like when you load up your plate with only things that match, like veggies with meat.
Yeah.
Potatoes, but not like with everything, right? Good morning, Louis en France. How are you doing? Ça va. And Kenny is asking, send me the link. No, I'm not going to send in a link because this is not a call-in show, Kenny. But later on, maybe we will open up the floodlights depending on how we're doing for time. Yes, so absolutely point. But I think also, I mean, we've been driving this awareness campaigns on Twitter and socials, and I think that most of the numpties fans are trying to sort of, they're waking up, the intelligent approach to see that, hang on, yes, because more and more like content creators is talking about this. They said, this is not Ten Hag's fault. We always look at the root cause analysis of the reason why, what do you expect? Like, hey, I'll give you a wheelchair with one wheel and I expect you to win. You know what I mean? Rolling. Listen, at the end of the day, we have half a squad injured. Like, we don't have a left back. We're playing Amrabat that we actually loaned in or bought in to play a center defender midfielder. We only have one fit center back almost, and that's Lindelof, because Varane is like a hobbling on and off on one leg. Maguire, it's not to be trusted. Johnny Evans, 35, 36. So it's absolutely shambles, because the manager has not really properly been backed second year of the season. And this is the hamster wheel that happens all the time, every single year. So people wake up and smell the coffee. I
just want to address some of the comments here. I see Eli says, Jarvis, it's all just excuses. Everyone should have a contingency plan. And you may be right, but I don't think you can plan for stuff like this. The Greenwood thing, injuries, the Ronaldo thing, everything. It's very hard. And on top of all, I see Ramo here says a lot of the injuries is because Erik Ten Hag overplaying the same players and making no subs. But as I explained, we got Weghorst and we got Sabitzer in when we had a lot of injuries. We had no one else. He had to play the players we had. We didn't have any available. And in February we lost our chief of medical staff, and he came in 2 weeks ago. Can you explain?
So that's not. I mean, that's not the manager's fault. That's not the manager's fault. The manager's job is to manage the team and to manage the analysis and the coaches, right? And above the manager, you have the director of football. That is his boss. And the director of football has been undermining him. He's been undermining every single freaking manager that we had, right? The manager gives the list. This is my transfer list. This is who I want. I've done my analysis. Who is the perfect persona profile for each single position? This is what I need to be able to compete. No, because they don't share the same vision. They don't see it. They're not footballing people. Clear and simple people. So wake up. So it's never the manager's fault. Yes, it's the manager's fault if he loses the games. But if you look at it, how many selections? I mean, if you look at the bench, we have injured players, right? What do we have to do? We have to sort of jinx it. But at the end of the day, it comes down to who do you trust as a manager? Who is actually listening to your instructions? We have overplayed players, player power in the dressing room that he's trying to get rid of. He was blocked by the board. He's trying to cook something. He's trying to cook the perfect dish. And That's why I did a video early this morning to say, would Klopp or Pep be successful if Ten Hag left and they appointed him? What do you think?
Well, it's a hypothetical question, and it's very hard to head because there's no answer on it. But I feel that they will struggle at the same level as Ten Hag. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't. I think Klopp and Pep would have been extremely frustrated.
There's two different approaches we can say that. Pep is successful because he has a fantastic structure above him. It's all set up for him, right? It's all set up. It's a proper function, proper footballing club. Then Liverpool, it's like a little bit, but better than us. FSG, right? They only care about money. But it took Klopp 3 years to shape his squad. He didn't win jack shit, right? And he's been struggling on and off every second season, while Pep has been winning every single season because everything above from the boardroom to the mailroom is aligned. That's the thing. If you look at our club, it's broken. Above Ten Hag, it's a leakage from the roof. It's even a leakage in Old Trafford where people were sitting there. It was pissing down rain on them.
Yeah.
So the
And
Glazers.
speaking of piss, it smells like piss in the urinals at Manchester United restrooms. It's flooding over.
Yeah. So big up for all of you guys.
Yeah,
big up for Billy Connolly. Big up for Kenny Fan TV. Big up for everyone that's tuning in. Positive vibes. What's Mr. McKay saying here as well. Simon Heron is in the house as well in the VR room. It's funny how the victims get one division against them and the whole world is talking about it. Yes, 100% Simon. Dove147 is also here coming on. Can't be surprised. Mick Rashford would have been moved 2 seasons ago. And this is also a point that we're going to talk about. Like, this is like, what Sir Alex Ferguson used to do when surprised every single fan base, including myself. Wow, why are you selling like Beckham? Oh, why did you sell Ronaldo? Like, because it's time to move on. You sell the player and you invest in better players for that revenue. Kev McGee, big up to all of you. RJ, big up everyone. Big up, big up, big up. Milos Mitic is here. Dobar dan, Miloše Jarvise. Pozdrav, momci. Miloš, dobar dan. That means good day. Dobro veče. Dobro veče, Miloše. Surinder Singh is here. What you saying? Losers will be second bottom come December. I don't know, Surinder. Like, I had an argument with somebody on Twitter to say, like, are you mad? Like, you want the club to be relegated. Are you I mean, how can you say that? I would never wish. It's like wishing that somebody gets cancer. You know what I mean? Why would we play in the Champions? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, to be relegated is to wish something bad. You might as well just bend over and take it up to what, right?
Yeah, but you got to see the argument, and in a way, I can agree. I wouldn't lay down and cry if we got relegated, if it would meant that the Glazers are selling the club 100%.
Yeah, but they are going to sell the club.
People feel, because it's been 18 years of the American owners now, and we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
We're fighting for top 4. That's
big up, Mark. Big up. Yeah. Andy Schultz, big up to you. What are you saying? Can't believe we can't celebrate shitty losing at this rate. Of course, I will always celebrate our rivals losing. Of course, you got to be something positives. At this rate, we'll lose to Luton. Yeah, I get that. I get the panic button. I understand you, my friend. Stop deluding yourself. We are in the mud. Yeah, we are in the mud. But when you are in the mud, Andy, we got to take yourself in the mud. Like the famous golfer Arnold Palmer used to say, you get yourself into trouble, you got to get yourself out of the trouble. If you end up in a pot bunker, if you know, you know. Ramo is here as well. Or so many games left to lose. Why are you so negative, everyone? There's so many games to lose. Like, you might as well just hang up the boost and just hand it in and walk over, Ramo. I've been trying to provide the positive to say, look, this is 7 games in season. I understand we are hurting. We are licking our wounds. But why would we hang up the boots, and why would we wish us to be relegated? I mean, talk to us, my friend. I'll love to hear your reason.
Obviously, the fan base is hurting, as we are hurting as United.
Of course,
it's a hard time. We've been through so much the last couple of years with all that's going on. So it's hard to find the positives. But we gotta dig deep. We gotta dig deep and try. Because
where's your toot?
We can win the next game, and suddenly everything will be differently.
Jarvis, I lost my party toot. Where is your party toot?
Well, my party toot is
Yeah,
here.
because I want to celebrate Jonathan Borg here. Because it's absolutely smashing true. Like, guys, luckily the Glazers don't have the money to sack Ten Hag. They'll pay him out. That's the truth. And it's a numbers game. You know, the only thing the Glazers caring about is to get top 4. Because if you're getting top 4, that gives you extra revenue, right? The Premier League will pay you extra money, and then you get the revenues from playing in Champions League. That's all they care about. You know, that's all they care about. Top 4. That's it. They have no winning ambition. And that's the thing. Like, you know, what I'm saying, that's the thing. If there were smart business owners that would actually make United being a winning machine, because if you're a winning machine, you get more sponsorships, more revenues. You would be on the top of the world if you're the proper owner, right, Jarvis?
Yeah. You're right.
Nigel Flynn, how are you doing, my friend? Andy Schultz, I know. Alex is here as well. Big up, Alex, for coming in Raw as well.
Alex.
I mean, Martial doesn't play with Højlund. I also think Rashford tries to pass or cross more than on the right-hand side. Actually, Rashford on the right makes more sense, to be honest, when he played the right, but he was substituted. We're going to talk about that as well.
Rashford on the bench make more sense for me.
It does.
Yeah.
Nigel Flynn, highlight, we shouted out. Maulin Patel, big up Mick, big up to you, Maulin Patel. The goal would have been disallowed with the Palace player impeded Onana's vision, 100%.
Hey, Maulin Patel, what kind of car is that? It looks like a nice. Is that
It's a Porsche.
Porsche?
I don't know. I don't know. Send it over. Send it over to Jarvis. He will test drive it. Yeah, big up. It would have been disallowed, to be honest. Highlight, everyone. Dav is here. James is here. The Glazers needs to go. 100% do not pick the team. The Glazers do not pick the team. They don't choose the tactics, and they have, you know, and he has been backed. Come with one logical reason, James, why he think he's been backed. Of course, Glazers do not pick the team, but Glazers block the transfers. Glazers are the one that say, no, you cannot have him. So if you come into McDonald's, right, on a drive-through, James, and you said, I want a Big Mac supersize, all upgrade, I want with vanilla shake and all that jazz, and you end up going out to pick your order and you get a Happy Meal with the toy. That's what it is in comparison, mate. You know, you get a toy. Are you happy? No, this is not what I asked for, but you got a toy. Make it work. So, fair point. He picks the team. 100% he picks the team. He picks the tactics, but he picks the team that he trusts, that follows his instructions. And some people, what we've seen, are applying the player power, right? He's trying. The thing is, what I have a problem with, Jarvis, and want to discuss with you. All our past managers seems to pick players that do well in training, but they should be picking players that do well in matches, right? Scott McTominay has been doing madness in trainings. He's like preseason Pirlo. He's like, oh, you know what I mean? Matarazzi. You know, he's like, you know, Zidane in training. Anyone can do good training. But when you actually come on the pitch, this is where you should look at. But the manager sees the place on a training ground and picks on that current form. Or?
Oh, for me, I think managers pick players on the loyalty to his game plan. You know, I think a lot of players freestyle it when they come on the pitch. They don't 100% follow the manager's rules and principles. And when the manager don't trust the player, he won't pick them, even though they perform well. So that's what the side that we fans don't see. We don't see. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, basically.
Yeah. Big up Ragninck as well for coming in here. One of our members as well, saying the Glazers sanctions the stupid contracts. Indeed, are incentivizing the players to perform. They're happy to collect their inflated salaries. That's a very good, valid point, Ragninck. I'm going to depack 2 points of that, Jarvis, if you may. I think for some reason that is the business model of the Glazers, like to keep this gravy train failure trade going, like, you know, to sabotage every manager by offering stupid wages that at the end of the day you cannot get rid of them, right? So that makes sure that every new manager that comes in will fail, right? Because you can't get rid of them. You buy mediocre players that you cannot like sell because they have the ridiculous wages, or so I started to see some patterns here, like, you know, and the only way forward, what the club is trying to do is just go back in timeline, Jarvis. In January, February, there was a story came out in Athletic that the club was trying to do a salary cap on 200K a week, right? If you remember that, you have your daughter in the background here waving hello, hey, Sunday roast. He's gonna do a snow angel there, right?
Yeah.
Almost snowed there. I mean, it's just a theory, but now you're starting to see the Glazers getting exposed, the business model, right? You know, they're sabotaging every manager by doing certain shenanigans, right? As soon as we lose, they release some PR snippets to make you endorphins happy, to keep you like, believing and buying the merch and everything else, right? So the way forward for this is definitely, I would say, to do a salary cap on 200K, do a base salary and based on KPIs, performance indexes, like, that you receive X amount of money bonuses on achieved targets, like a salesperson, right?
Yeah, in a perfect world, that will be the solution. I don't think it's possible because we compete against all the other teams that don't have a salary cap. So it will be hard for us to get the players we want. And suddenly we have one star player that we really want, and we have to break the salary cap, and then everything falls apart. So in practically speaking, I don't think it's easy to have a salary cap.
Yeah. Big up for the special one. We have Jose Mourinho in the house. The special one. Three respect. He's saying, because he got first-hand experience, Jarvis, to say, if we were on top, the Glazers would never sell. Let's be thankful we are 10th, and hopefully they reconsider. Jose, come in and have your say. 100%. Brother, that leaves me to our next question before we go on Alan as well. Like, I want to shout out to Alan as well. I can see you in the VR room. Hi, Mick and Jarvis. You know pretty much my feels. This ends when the ownership plus the CEO and the director of football goes. Glazers out. Yeah, 100%. I want to bring this to the stage as well. Like, definitely. Guys, I did a little bit poll, like, and this goes out to the special one as well, basically. I did a little bit of a Twitter poll earlier today. And I said, he's the man that can save the club. Is he the man that could save the club under the new ownership when we get one? He built clubs. Would you take him back as a CEO or director of football? Valid question. And it comes straight into, what you're saying here, Alan, as well. Like, perfect timing. Perfect timing. And we're talking about open heart surgery, Ragninck. And you'd be surprised how many people responded on it. 38 responses, 13 retweets, and 4,000 impressions. Would you, I'm asking you, Jarvis, would you, if we get Sheikh Kassim in, is he the man that can rebuild the club as a CEO or director of football?
Yeah, we need a director of football with a vision of how to run the club. It's not up to the manager. It's not up to the board or the CEO. You have the director of football who will be in charge for building the club, and he have the long-term perspective. The managers are usually here for 2 or 3 years, but the director of football will be here for 10 years, 15 years. So a man like Ragninck with his experience would be great to have as a director of football, but there's many more out there. I'm not sure if Ragninck is the one, because we need to have someone who fits Man United.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this one had first-hand experience being in the club, so he knows, right? That's a fast track. That's a fast track. He was the one that recommended certain players. He was the one that recommended an open heart surgery. He called it out, Same with Ronaldo called it out in his Piers Morgan interview. He wasn't wrong, to be honest. But what he did wrong was to undermine the manager. This guy undermanaged the, not directly, but he took an aim that, like, look, I tried everything, but you didn't give me the tools. Like, I recommended this player, that player, this player. This is the way. But the establishment above him are so self-entitled and privileged and incompetent, I would say. The fake director of football that he was reporting to, he could have done his job better. He knew exactly. So he called him out. And
you're right.
Based on that, they didn't even offer him a consultancy role because they were protecting themselves. John Murta was protecting himself.
He was speaking the truth, and they didn't like it. Yeah, when you're
because
doing
John Murta defended himself.
People calls you out, you don't like it, and that's why we are not moving forward.
Well, he called out the CEO Arnold for incompetent. Not directly in these quotes, but he called out also Murtaugh.
You doesn't have to be a rocket science to understand that Arnold is out of his depth on when it comes to being a director of football. He doesn't know what they're doing, and that's a big problem. But Ragninck called him out, but they didn't like it.
I want to take this section just to shout out to everyone that's actually engaged in this tweet. Sharon Begley was saying, absolutely no brainer, what Sharon was saying. Red Devils Army would say, absolutely, I would hire him in any given Sunday, any day. Richie Royale said, yes, keep Erik ten Hag, but the owners has to leave first. 100%. So people understand, like in a heartbeat, he's saying Mark here as well. Scott's saying definitely would have him back. Andy and Bruno, Bruno's shepherd. Andy and Bruno and the White Shepherd. He's saying Ralf 100% would take him back as director of football to work with the new CEO, and of course, keeping Erik ten Hag as a manager. People are seeing the truth, and that's what we're all about, right? Nikki is like one of the VRsters coming. Nikki Carrigan, Irish Nikki, big time. Sacking him was a sackable offense itself. What Nikki's saying. Glazers Out is saying in a heartbeat, sacking him was a disgrace. Andrew Rowlands is saying, if new ownership, if it does happen, we should bring him back as a director of football. No doubt about it. Just Rick saying, yes, 100%. Gunnar Rutam saying, take him back as a director of football. Ahmed is saying, do you have news related to him? Did you read my message? It's a poll. Do I have news? Am I some form of ITK here? Listen, he goes back on the question. Do I have news? No, I don't. Sheikh Avram, 110% what he's saying there as well. Ahmed, totally agree. Jed is saying definitely. 100%, 100%. Chris Harris is saying 100%. There's so many people saying 100% here, And this is the way of moving forward, because he creates clubs, he creates visions, right?
Yeah.
What's the VR room saying, by the way?
Yeah, I have a question here from LB. You can start and answer it, Mick. I got a serious question for you guys, Mick and Jarvis. How can we defend Erik ten Hag? His lack of in-game tactics? ?
That's a question for you.
Yeah, I just want to say, last season ten Hag was spot on. We had a lot of games that were 50-50, and we pulled through and won with one goal. So his in-game tactics last season was really good. He was one of the best of all the managers in the league. This season, it hasn't been going his way. He's a little bit late. He missed last game on Bruno and RASHOFORD. So yeah, I get your point, but we got to look at the bigger picture. I think the injuries play a vital role. I don't think the players have hit form yet, but he tried to play them into form, and he hopes that everything will loosen up after a couple of games. So give it some time. If this continues until Christmas, then we can really start asking questions. But up until now, I will hold my tongue.
Yeah, hold your tongue, because ten Hag is not happy. Came out today. He's not happy with the start of the season. He put his hand up 100%. I mean, based on everything that we're saying and discussing, right? He had little time to work, like 4 weeks in the preseason. He didn't get all his signings in, and he's trying to implement new tactics. And when you implement new tactics, you work with your analysis, with your coaches, to identify certain players that can play in certain positions. Okay, what happens? You have injury to Maino, you have injury to that person, to this person. You have 11 players injured, right? So all of a sudden, everything goes out the window. So I kind of feel like he's trying to sort of, in the middle of a season, try to play the best style of football with this, to implement the tactics and everything in the middle of a season, so he didn't have a proper season. He didn't have fit players, and now we're seeing the fruits of it. At the end of the day, you can understand he's a master tactician. In-game management needs to improve. We can criticize him, right? Yesterday, he did subs in the 60th minute, to be honest. That's a little bit earlier, 5 minutes earlier, or sometimes 85. But if you look at Pep Guardiola, when does he do subs? 80th minute, 85. Subs you make when you see that things are not going. But if you don't make subs, that means you see something in the team. You believe in your team that something can turn around. Yes, managers get it wrong. Managers sometimes get it right. And when they do get it right, they give them the roses. If you do get it wrong, they're under scrutiny. But he knows it. He knows this. He's not happy. He's not happy. This is not what he signed up for. In every interview, he say we want to win every single game, every single game. He delivers the message every single time on the pitch to the players. But the problem is who is listening, who is applying it.
Yeah.
Right? Who is? Because comes back to the original question. When you have players that get paid 300 quid a week, 250, 200, they're millionaires. Hey, why should I listen to you? You know, I can throw you under the bus and I will still get my money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big up to everyone. Thomas as well, all the way from Sweden as well, coming with a question. Don't forget every position above the manager level are the Glazers facilitators, 100%. They're hired by the Glazers to work for the Glazers and not for the footballing club. Big up point. Where's my choo-choo on that one?
I will play.
That sounds like a deflated Arsenal balloon in the mid-season, to be honest, Jarvis. Big up for you, Thomas, as well. So let's talk about the controversial. If there is any other questions regarding that, I'm more than happy to discuss. We've got to move on as well. No, I don't think Ten Hag has lost the dressing room. Question. Do you think?
No, I don't think he has lost the dressing room. I think the players are fighting for Ten Hag and for themselves, but you know, players like Sancho, there's always someone who's not happy. But and I don't know, Maguire, is he happy with Ten Hag? So I think there's small groupages inside the club who are a little bit unhappy. But I think overall, the majority of the group of players, like 90%, stands behind Erik Ten Hag.
We're going to come back to your questions later on as well. So I'm going to start bookmark some questions that I want to address later on as well. So I'm going to do that right now. And big up for Kevin McGee coming in here as well. 100%. Because we got to move on to the next topic. And the next topic is, you know, can you see it?
No.
Well, Ref and the VAR's exposed, Jarvis. Ref and the VAR's in the mud. 100%. We're going to talk about the VAR officials. I mean, we've been sitting here on this stream so many times and complaining that we haven't got controversial VAR decisions either. And yesterday, what happened in the game was pretty much the same thing what we've been discussing before, right? It's just a shambles, like, you know, because today came out VAR officials who made Liverpool error took a charge of the UAE match just 48 hours before. And we are talking about this VAR officials who are sitting there was actually Michael Oliver, the infamous Michael Oliver, Dan Cook and Darren England were part of the match officiating also 24 hours before with the UAE league game, right? Question was been raised. What did they do? Did they just sleep? Did they watching Pornhub there or something and playing PlayStation? I don't know, Jarvis. Talk to me.
Well, I would like to hear that conversation when they disallowed the Liverpool goal. You could see it clearly, no offside. So I understand that Liverpool fans and players feel cheated after that decision. I think it's important, even we are United fans and we don't wish Liverpool well at all. It's important to
stand against
the pressure, stand against the VAR and the referees who are doing these mistakes, because it at the end of the day it will affect us too, and we have seen it this season, the level of incompetence. So we need to keep up the pressure and demand that they will raise their standards, because this is not good enough.
Who's in charge of POL? Is that Howard Webb?
Yeah,
it's Howard Webb.
Yeah,
or Stuart Atwell.
VAR.
VR.
Find out.
Oh my God! We have a troll here. Where did you come from? VR room.
From Selhurst Park. I went to cause trouble.
Did you just finish the VR course, right?
I heard there's a need for new referees in the Premier League, so I'm here to.
There's an opening after yesterday's accident, right? Or so-called accident.
Exactly. The Premier League is atrocious, man. It's becoming a joke.
We were
But
just
becoming
opening. We were just opening a can of worms, Poppy, before you come in here as well. So we were just talking about yesterday's VAR official who made the Liverpool human error, what they're calling. I've been interested to hear what kind of excuses they're having, right? Because
yeah.
they formulate a rule: don't talk to me, don't talk to the hand. Only the captain can speak to us, and don't question our rulings. It's a little bit of authoritarian, and now they got exposed. I mean, what's your thoughts and opinion regarding what happened yesterday?
So it's really Liverpool were robbed. Liverpool were robbed, and it's just like one of those moments where I feel there needs to be more accountability. You know, it's like, come on, guys, you can't keep on proclaiming that this is the best league in the world, and then the refereeing is way below par. It's just atrocious. What I don't understand about it is like it seems to happen every year. They keeps on be they keeps on we keep on seeing moments where like the signs that there is not enough attention given to improving the refereeing decision and improving the level of training from the referees, and some really horrible mistakes last year that cost Arsenal in the title. I'm not an Arsenal fan. As a rival fan, you're just like, that's horrible. Imagine if that's us, and we've been having
We've been having our fair share.
our fair share.
Plenty,
Exactly.
plenty.
Yeah. So it seems like there's a conspiracy process, and I want to just say a conspiracy theory, and I want to ask, what is the process?
Well, stick around. I have another follow-up question to you. Like you're talking about conspiracy, but I think it's more of a corruption theory. I mean, is it plausible? Are you still there? Is it plausible that Liverpool
here.
failed? Is it plausible that Liverpool failed to pay in time, the transaction in time to the POL yesterday, and they got punished?
Can I say something about that? Like, so I just read that the same refereeing team was doing part of
Yeah.
they
UAE.
traveled to the UAE, and there's also like the other thing that we have to look into and say, this is a very high stakes game. People are going to lose their jobs over some of your decision making. You have to really be taking the best steps possible to make sure that you're in the best condition to not be costing people and making very costly errors like this. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say much about like the money wire transfer or anything like that because I don't know yet.
No. Jarvis, one thing that pops in my mind as well, Jarvis, is that there is one name that has been associated a lot with Manchester United. There's part of that list that was refereeing yesterday and that was refereeing the UAE game for 24 hours before, and that's Michael Oliver. Michael Oliver was part of the send-off of Casemiro. He was part of a lot of controversial. You have Dan Cook and Darren England. I mean, these are mates at the end of the day. They will back each other up, but is that just a coincidence, or is it just, I don't know. It smells something like some corruption or something. Anything can be bought in nowadays. People are money hungry, right? Talk to us. Are we just
as I said earlier,
or?
I don't believe in corruption when it comes to referees. To be honest, I find it hard to believe it's corruption, but I believe it's a lot of incompetence. I've seen interviews with referees. They talk a lot about how they implement the VAR, how they should do it, how they should use the newest technology. Everything is like new, and it's hard to grasp, and it needs a little bit of training. I also think they should learn from UEFA and other organizations. You see VAR works perfectly in La Liga. It works really good in Serie A and in Bundesliga, but we have big troubles in the Premier League. So I think maybe it's the level of the competence of a lot of the referees, and I think they are very conservative. They always have the same referees. And old referees, they should bring in younger referees who can learn the technology faster and be better.
Bring back Collina, the best referee in the world, the Italian Collina, the bald one. He looked like the head singer of How Can We Dance When Our Birds Are Turning, Yeah, no, but seriously, like, it just, does this spread to Europe as well? Because if I think about the VR decision by Munich Champions League, first time in VR Champions League history when they did the check and they recalled the check and recalled the Empire, the Swedish Empire, to have a look at it, and they gave it as an offside goal. Offside. Was it offside? Yeah, it was offside. Yeah, but it wasn't, right? Was it a goal?
Was it a handball?
Oh, handball. This I can't remember, mate. But it's the first time in Champions League history. Usually they're quite good to say check completed, no problems. Hey, by the way, it's Manchester United. They didn't pay the bill. Hey, come here. Oh yeah, they didn't pay. So no special treatment. Ruled off. Puppy.
It's really horrible. So what I feel like we've seen in the past, like some other competitions actually have fairly okay to really good referee. I believe like the Qatar World Cup has had very handful of like, you know, controversial decisions, but it wasn't that much. Everything was almost objective, and we kind of we were all in agreement. I don't know if I'm the only one in the house that feels this way. The VAR room can also chime in on this too, but I you know, that's why it baffles me that there is so much resources, so much money, so
So
many
much money, technology, yeah.
you know, access to technology, but it's just way below par. That is just ridiculous.
Yeah. Big up Karen for coming in. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute, Karen. Thank you for sending all your love. Maybe the refs are getting backhanders from other clubs. Who knows? Who knows? And she sends us also love heart. Big up. It's been a hot minute since we saw you, Karen. Hope you're doing well today as well.
I just got to say one point on the VAR and the technology I'm talking about. I saw an interview with an ex-referee, and he talked about that he was the one who implemented it. Stu Wally had an interview on All for United, and he talked about, for example, like the technology, frames per seconds. And 15 frames per second or 60 frames per second and when the ball releases from the foot and to find out like really the technology, how to implement it in the best way possible. And there's better options out there, but they are not implementing it. They can measure the offside line 100% if they want to, but they don't. You know, they are very conservative.
And they don't look at real time. They look at slow motion, and it always looks worse in slow motion.
You can implement ultra fast cameras with the 2 frames a second, like
but that's not realistic,
10,000
gentlemen,
frames.
ladies and gentlemen, and the VR room. It's not realistic. Our eyes don't see things in slow motion. Our eyes see the way it happens in the real time. So play it in real time. Why are you slowing it down? Because when you slow it down, you get more worse effect. You know what I mean? And if you're drawing the line, you draw it like, you know, exactly the way the body position for offside. Even a 5-year-old in kindergarten can draw the line a little bit more crooked and say offside, yeah? And when it comes to the handballing rule, let's just make it simple. Anything that touches the hand within the 6-yard box is a penalty. Only the goalkeeper is allowed to touch the ball with the hands in the penalty box. Yeah, simple. Right? We're playing football, not handball there. Even if it hits you like here. Just make it fair and square.
My question is, should we have VAR at the first place, or should we just let the referee do his thing?
I don't know. Maybe we should implement, maybe we should just wait for the AI technology to come out. Maybe we'll have some robots running around doing programmed AI machine learning. They will say, oh, more accurate. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the way the future is going, because at the end of the day, you have human error and you have machines that can do better job than humans, right? Because we are heading.
Do we want to, every time we score a goal, do we want to sit there and wait for 30 seconds before we dare to celebrate the goal? It's starting to be a little bit ridiculous, you know. It's like 1984. It's too much things. That's so it's surveillance of everything. Why can't we just let the game run its natural course and the referee, okay, let him do his
But they
job.
want to. I kind of feel that they want to be part of the game instead of being in the background of the game. They want to take the limelight, like, and they want to be stars, like they want to be talked about in the media afterwards. I don't know. It just kind of feels that way, Poppy.
Jarvis, I agree with you, Mick. It's also like a little bit of a you almost need a pre VAR celebration and a post VAR celebration because
Yeah.
the way
Hang on, we're not still allowed to celebrate.
like even as for like it's one of those moments where it's like you have to hold your breath and really you can't be sure until you're sure, even if you just saw something spectacular, which kind of kills some of the joy in the game. What the other point that Mick said earlier on, that I really liked was I believe in basketball they do not do slow mo replay. They do
No.
replays, but they have this, like, you have to see them. You can see different angles, but it has to be in real time, and that has a very big impact. You cannot underestimate it. When I was watching, it might have been that Gary Lineker podcast where they were interviewing, I believe, Howard Webb. There was a point about the dynamics of like the VAR assistant and the on-field referee. Like, so if there's an imbalance in those dynamics, it can actually influence the game. Say if the referee on the field is more experienced than the VAR referee in the office, like the VAR referee in the office sometimes has moments of just like questioning
Overruled.
themselves, or not saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna," challenge your vast knowledge and experience in the game when I'm only 6 months into the job and you've been doing this for years and years and years. Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to go. So those dynamics come into play sometimes. It's almost sometimes better to have a more experienced person in the VAR room and then the less experienced people out on the fields, if it has to be that way.
But it feels also there are a little bit of a peer pressure because the field umpire should be the one that's the major decision maker, right? But
Hmm.
it feels like, okay, I delegate a lot of things to the VAR room, and it's peer pressure. Like, we'll listen to them, and they will influence my decision. At the end of the day, you should be the one that be confident enough to overrule. No, I don't believe what you just show me. Show me another angle. But now they're getting very much influenced and peer pressure by the mates because they're mates. The guys that sits in the VR room, they're also referees on the pitch as well.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Like you
Yeah.
have Michael Oliver sits there, Dan Cook, Darren England sits in the VR room, and they rotate. Sometimes where they're not, official umpires on the field, they're also fourth official, you know what I mean, linesmen and everything else, right? So they are in need of small people protecting themselves. And they will just always listen to themselves, like, to say, hey, Michael, maybe you should look at this. Nah, that's not a goal. Nah, it's Liverpool. Give it to Liverpool. Klopp paid. Yeah, you know what I mean? But it comes down also to, celebration, it kills the game, right? It's like me coming to you, happy birthday, Poppy, let's sing. Wait a minute, wait, I just need to check. Did it pass midnight yet? Oh, now you can sing. Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy almost birthday.
Almost birthday. So, but
Yeah.
when you talk about slow motion, yeah, I totally agree. Like, the only thing that I can think about, the only slow motion replay, there was a Scott McTominay chasing up a Meccano against Bayern Munich. 100%. He was going, that was slow motion. Anyway, guys, coming up big and raw, we have some celebration to do because we have a super chat.
Super chat, super chat, super chat.
Super chat.
Flynn coming up with an uppercut. Raw and reckless, and Jarvis is blowing his balloon ski. Sunday roast. We are in the same position as Liverpool last season. I thought about that too, Nigel, earlier this morning. Did you read my mind? Liverpool got later stages in 4 competition, 21-22, and we burnt out last season. We played in 4 comps and got later stages, 22-23, and now burnt out. Jarvis, I leave it to you because I was thinking about this morning, how Liverpool started last season and finished off strong. Now we started the same as Liverpool, and we have injuries, but rest assured that all these top 4 players will have their fair share of injuries, and we will catch up where we have everyone available.
Yeah, we see it in players who played a lot of minutes last season. The players was Rashford, it was Bruno, it was Casemiro. They played a lot of minutes and they haven't been themselves this season. So and I think it takes time and it coming into form. If you watch the Olympics or swimming or whatever, track and field, the athletes they build their form to the championship, but it's not like that in football. You have to be in form for 8 months, 9 months, and it's not that easy. And I think your body will you will get the reaction if you play Bruno. He played over 6,000 minutes last season. It's like unhuman, and he's never injured. So of course he will have a reaction. So that's just the way it is. But if we haven't had all those injuries, maybe Ten Hag could rotate a little bit more and let them rest. But unfortunately, we have had like a full squad out. So
Yeah,
that's
big up.
part
Yeah,
explanation.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. We got to move on in the show unless Papi has something to say about that. But I think Jarvis summed it up quite well.
Yeah, that was a great summary. And what I'll shoehorn into what you just said, Jarvis, is like that's partially part of the reason why you have to understand the context. Anytime you're like reviewing how Ten Hag is doing, you have to give it context, because without context, then you're working off of false information. What's Ten Hag's position right now? Has he had one of the biggest injury crises in the Premier League so far in this 2023-24 season? The answer is yes. We are one of those clubs that are struggling. So while you're judging his progress and his evolution and his development with Man United and what his identity football should be, you have to give the context and understand he does not have any real fallback, especially the defense is very thin.
Yeah,
You know,
it is. It is. We got to move on to the show. Thank you, Papi. Thank you for the super chat as well. Big up to all of you. We're going to talk about what the hell is going on with Rashford. That's a big question what everyone is asking, because I don't get it. You know, it's every second season Rashford. You know, is he protecting himself like this? You know, I'm sorry, because we got to apply a little bit of humor. We're here to sort of criticize, give, you know, this is the Sunday roast. We can give, you know, carrot and the stick, but I don't see it. I don't see it happening for Rashford this season. And I see a pattern, guys. I see a pattern that every second season Rashford, you know, one season he's like scoring, bagging goals. The season after he's just gashed, to be honest. And I don't know really what's going on, but I can clearly see that there's a problem here. Like, you know, it's a problem. I want to hear from the VR room. I want to hear from you as well, because you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, it comes down to even Ten Hag can see that he admits the concern of Marcus Rashford's slow start of this season, but for some reason he believes in him. We know that there's a good player in him, and you know, what's the recommendation, guys? If you were Ten Hag right now, you know, what would you do? Like, in a simple question without any further debates, like, you know.
Yeah,
I'll go with you,
Papi
Jarvis.
can go first.
Papi, you're on mute.
Oh, you're on mute, mate.
Also, VR roomsters are getting involved in the comments as well.
Okay, Papi won't go first. I can go first then. What was the question again? Rashford, what to do?
it was about Rashford, what to do.
If you were Ten Hag at the moment, like, you know, if you look at it, because Ten Hag is admitting there is a problem with Rashford, right?
Yeah.
He admits there's a concern about Rashford's slow start of the season.
Yeah.
If you look at it, like, you know, he made some quotes to say that, like, I think he knows he can do better than he does right now. He works hard, and that is what he is doing. He will net, he will finish, and will come to. But it will not come automatic, the coach said. He has to invest a lot in the team, to invest a lot of things around himself. Today, he's not in the right positions, but the decision-making was not good enough. So that's what we don't score. So that's basically him also calling him out, like, you know, he's trying, but his positioning is wrong. He doesn't score. He's not in the right mind frame. So Ten Hag never calls the players right out. Like, but if you read between the lines,
he's having a moment, Mick, where he's like, Rashford, it's on to you now as well, you know. But I think the thing is, Marcus Rashford, like, we know that he had his prolific season last season was one of those where it was all the fruits of what he did during preseason. And if you know, like, I keep on now remembering like this interview that he did with Gary Neville, and Marcus Rashford was talking about this personal training team. He has a core team that he's been with ever since he's been a kid at Carrington, and he has, unfortunately, this season around this summer, he had a very short personal training days, and that's just consequence of because of how we had a very long season that included the World Cup. He also needs time to reset and just like take a break from things. So Rashford has right now is not in razor sharp form. It's primarily because of that. He just did not have time to reset and recover from his fatigue. He's not a machine, and now he's trying to get back into the levels that he was at, and it's frustrating because all he has to do is try to do the simple thing, and he keeps on. He had an opportunity in the last game to just start building the chemistry with Hoyland, and then he decides to dribble not once. This was on 2 occasions, and that's why Hoyland, the first also moment that he got, he was like, I'm gonna try also and shoot for myself, and that just shows like there is not a very very like active intention from Rashford to try and build together a chemistry on the field. It doesn't seem like it's where it's supposed to be. So if I was Ten Hag to answer your question, Mick, I would pretty much just say, Rashford, it's time for you to sit down, take a little break, and you're gonna come in as a sub, and somebody else is gonna start that position. Alejandro,
Alejandro. No, here's the thing, right? We bought a Rasmus Højlund, we bought a striker to actually, we've been crying out for a striker. Play to the striker's position, play to his point, look up, find the passes. Football, for me, it's a very simple game, guys. It's about, maybe you go back to basics, keep it wide, pass it around, and the focal point should always find the striker in the middle to score the goal, or do the cut-through passes in and some midfielders or some other just have a shot on target and shot on goal. But when you have somebody that's not this proclaimed midfielder that wants to be the Hollywood boy, that's trying to do the Hollywood things, not everything is about showing tricks, and it's all about being a team player. Play it simple. So when you see, like when Garnacho is on, he's playing it simple. He's keeping it wide. He's taking on his play. He knows his role description. The same thing with Pellistri, right? You're a team player, not an individual. We're coming down to individual brilliance, and I don't blame him because he had managers that fostered that mentality before in individual brilliance. We had Oli to say, go out and express yourself, individual moments, individual brilliance. But now you have a gaffer that says, no, we follow my rules and principles. We attack as a team. We defend as a team. So something is off here, and that's not his player. Jarvis, take it back to you. We have a super chat coming in as well.
Do the super chat first. Luan France.
Should we do the super chat from Luan France?
Super chat.
Oui, we have a super chat from Luan France coming under Ole.
Beautiful name. Ça va. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Luan.
Merci beaucoup, madame.
De Toronto, de Canada.
Oui. Under Ole, Rashford played with an injury, right? Listen carefully, I will only say this once. I wonder if that's the case now. He also needs time to rest. Fans doubt and criticize isn't helping also. Big point.
Spot on.
Who wants to take
really
this
good
one?
comment?
Jarvis,
we talked
you got
about
it.
this yesterday, Mick. Is he playing with an injury? You sent me a text on WhatsApp during the game. It looks like he plays with an injury.
He does.
He's restricted when he plays. It feels like he can't do his best. So yeah, I wonder. And as we talked about, he played a lot of minutes last season, 5,800, 900 minutes, something like that. And he can play with an injury. So I think maybe we shouldn't be too hard on Rashford, but I think it's time for Ten Hag to make up his mind and say, okay, Rashford, here, take some time off, 2-3 weeks on the bench. Maybe it will do you good because we need you for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Puppy, what do you say? Because for me, that's why we have the Sunday roast. I love Rashford. I want Rashford to succeed. I want the team to succeed, not the individual players. That's my standpoint on it. And if you are not contributing to the team, you're letting the team down, right?
Yeah.
So
and
if you're supporting the
Ben.
team, then if you're the manager, then you would clearly play the best team available who's in form and protect Rashford to put him on the bench. You know, maybe he's carrying a knock. Just come back when you're fresh, mate, when you're all up here as well. What's your take on this?
So it's exactly so it, Ten Hag has to help Rashford save himself as well, because he's going to perpetually put himself in this place where he's trying. When in life, these moments when you try too hard, you have to just say, take a step back and be like, take it easy. You're not supposed to be trying this hard. If you want it too hard, sometimes it becomes a little bit where you miss the easy things, and it's just go back to basics. And the only way he can learn that is by just sitting on the bench and watching other people do the basic things, and he'll find himself if he comes in and has a cameo appearances. And honestly, for me, some of our wingers that we have in Man United, I'm really sick of these guys that are high maintenance guys with very low output. Sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. And I'm starting to look for real soldiers. I want the Chiesa from Juventus. I want the real warriors, the guys with the dog in them, the guys that really, really want to give that all for the badge. And every minute you see that they're sweating. It's not just talent, it's not just skill, it's not the technique that they're born with or that they have, it's also the attitude that they bring to the team. And Rashford, for me, why we've sort of like collectively accepted that, he doesn't track back because he's our offensive threat. We want him close to defensive line. I don't know if that's the fan base can be divided about this. We don't know if it's like that it's Ten Hag instruction that stay on the shoulder and don't do that, or if it's a Rashford self-induced instruction. I don't know. But the main thing is, I just want better. I want more. Consistency is what we need. Rashford, take a break, man. Sit yourself. Go get sin bin. Come back with a fresher mind.
Can this also be? I'm just gonna play the devil's advocate to the VR room for everyone that's watching, including Jarvis as well. Can it also be something that he got his new contract in place and he's now affected by this big money contract that he needs to prove?
I want to debunk that one, Mick. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, Rashford signed his contract at the beginning of last season. He actually had instead of a post-contract slump that we actually want to kind of attribute to him, I think he actually signed a contract and then still had a very good performance afterwards. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that's what happened. Somebody can obviously correct.
Okay.
Me.
We have a question here from Michael Hill. Does Rashford's injury affect his brain and his choices he's making? I mean, honestly, that's a punch below the belt, Michael, but I kind of understand your question because, they get coached from early ages, so they have the ability, they've been in the academy since the 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, right? So they have the skills and ability, but you cannot train to have, and he looks like an intelligent boy as well when he does interviews, right?
Yeah. And by somebody got to remind him, IQ has I in it. It ain't no more IQ without
it's the Q.
Marcus.
Anyway, good up. So Chris Warby is saying, I love Rashford too, but he's too inconsistent, doesn't play the left wing for the team. If PSG came in with the money, would you happily to let him go? Would you?
We should have cashed in.
I mean, this kind of reminds you a little bit of what we talked about earlier in the show. This is what Sir Alex used to do as well. He used to identify, okay, he's a star boy, it's time to cash in and use that revenues to buy better squad, just to build for the future. And looking what's coming on, what's sniffing behind Rashford's bum right now, it's Garnacho. We have players that can play that position better, according to my opinion. Right? So for me, he wants to be that star boy from the last season because he was basically carrying the team. He's bagging 30 goals. Now you're recruiting in a Højlund. So why not playing to Højlund's, build around Højlund? Build around the number 9 that we need. That's how you win the games. So for me, it's like a definition of madness. Like, it's like the crash test dummy car. Like you see, like, you do 10 attempts out of 10, you might get through the brick wall, but you crash straight into the brick wall by trying to like take on 3, 4, 5 defenders.
Yeah.
I have a bone to throw at you guys, Mick and Jarvis, real quick about Højlund. Who's the best partner for Højlund if we play with a front 2 strikers?
Garnacho and Højlund.
Oh no, with 2 strikers. So is it? Would you go with Garnacho and Højlund as the
Martial.
2 strikers, or Martial?
Martial. You know why?
Yeah.
Martial is more of he can link up better.
Yeah.
He can play with his back against the goal, and he's a little bit of a more footballing IQ in technical, in dinks and stuff like that. 100%. Rashford doesn't look up.
Yeah, it's all about the link up. I agree, Mick, 100%. But I got a question from Luan France here, Mick, and you, with all your languages, got to answer this.
Je parlais un peu de français aussi. Premier League est anglais. Je parlais un peu de français aussi. Français est mon vrai nom. Shit, I can't read that.
It means my first language is English. I speak a little French as well. French is France is France is my real name. Oh wow. Incroyable.
Incroyable. Enchanté en France. A lot of people in the chat say Martial, Alan saying Garnacho. Yeah, but Garnacho if it's wings, but if we're playing with 2 strikers on top, one to the left, one to the right, that's definitely Martial, and then playing with Højlund, right? But that means that one is playing more advanced and one is playing the shadow striker, right?
But will we play with 2 strikers? I don't find it. I find it very unlikely at the moment. We only have 2 strikers, and one of them is always injured. So I don't think it's a project for Ten Hag.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And some people say, forget Anthony is back. Yeah, he's coming back, but he's got to fight his back. He's got to fight his way back into the team. That's what I want to see. I want to see players fighting for the positions, right? And I want to see players getting challenged for the position as well.
Yeah, but I have another question when it comes to player relationships. We have Bruno and Mason Mount, and they haven't worked well together so far. So what can we expect from them going forward?
Well, one can start and one can sit on the bench. Simple as that.
But now the other one is wearing the number 7 shirt. 7 on the bench don't make no sense, Mick. It's like
we can't have 78.
Where we were in a pickle with these 2 players, Mount and Bruno. The chemistry right now. I see more chemistry between Mount and Amrabat than like it's not clicking. I don't know. There's something that's really off about them, and seeming like how when Coutinho went to Barcelona, it feels like they sometimes occupy similar spaces or want to be in the same place, and they were just not maximizing we're not playing to their strengths, and that's sort of a similar type of player, or similar positionally they want to be almost in the same areas or same zones. So I don't know about Mount.
I don't know. No, but Mount and Rashford didn't work either, and Bruno and Rashford doesn't work either. So something's got to give here, right? Something's got to give. I mean, there's a lot of games to be played. So, if we're going to talk about, protect your players, protect your injury, there's got to be rotations. And that's why I'm saying, okay, play Mount as number 10, for instance. He's an attacking midfielder. Put Bruno on the bench, give him a rest. Or there's other players that can play in that position, like Hannibal Mejbri, for instance, right? It's how to utilize the squad. Sorry, my cat. True. Yeah, true. Hang on, I'm gonna let my cats take over.
Yeah. We can take it from when it comes to, for my opinion, when it comes to Mount and Bruno, I don't see them playing good together. I think they are similar, as you said. Oh, my kids are going crazy in the background here. Sorry about that.
Oh my God! First the cats, now the kids. What's going on? Go ahead.
What is going on?
Lend your point though, Jarvis.
Yeah. So when it comes to Bruno and Mount, I think they search the same areas at the field, and I don't feel they complement each other in a good way. So I think maybe maybe if we put Bruno on the right and Mount in the 10, maybe they will work together, because when we put them both in the 8s, they search the same room and do the same thing. So they don't complement each other at all. So for me, yeah, put one of them on the bench.
Yeah. I'm back. I just had to let my cat in anyway, so you know how it is. I think that if I agree with what Jamie Wayne is saying here, what Billy Connolly, what everyone is saying here, you know, just play Amrabat in his natural position. That's what it is. Like, you know, but we can't do that at the moment. We don't have a proper fit left back, you know. We had injuries to Serge Reguilon that we loaned out. We have injuries to Luke Shaw. I mean, natural position, yeah, Dalot can play in that position, but we don't have a right back at that end. Understandable, right? The mistake is that we should never have let go Alvaro Fernandez on loan to Granada, you know. And Klopp knew that they sent out Alvaro when Luke Shaw got injured as well. That was like, you know, post injury to Luke Shaw. So I'm just thinking, like, you know, why did they do that? Like, you know, because right now, if we had Alvaro Fernandez in the squad, we wouldn't not have this issue. Alvaro was been given his chance, to be honest, right? So anyway, what happened to Jarvis? He's probably had some problems. Poppy, talk to me.
No, that is bad decision making. How do you, when you already know that there is signs of a crisis coming up? You know, I mean, you can't really say that they could really look that much into the future. But the Luke Shaw injury tells you that, all right, your primary left back is gone for now. You need to be going to be relying on your secondary left back, and then we go make this emergency purchase. And letting go of Alvaro Fernandez was one of the worst decisions that we made in terms of our outgoings. You know, this season.
Yeah,
And
so we can summarize that. If we can summarize the roast, to be honest, from that point of view, is to say that Ten Hag is the chef. He's trying to cook a filet mignon without the meat. Right?
Yeah,
It doesn't have the right ingredients at the moment, right? So basically, if you're a 5-star Michelin chef, you always want to have the perfect ingredients to serve the perfect dish.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't right now, you don't have enough meat, you don't have enough legs to complete your job, right? So that's a great analogy to summarize the overall situation, isn't it? Right?
True that.
Big up. Yep. And we also talked about, you know, that nobody will ever succeed under these current ownerships, right? So it don't matter, like, you know, you're trying to cook you work for a 5-star Michelin restaurant, but they're not providing you with the right ingredients. What you put on your list as a chef to say, I need these ingredients to produce to be able to make you still the successful 5-star Michelin, right? That everyone wants to come and eat and dine with. But you're giving me shit products, like, you know, that's cheap, and I'd even ask for it. So that's one analogy to put it in. Now, in order to be, for this restaurant to be successful again, we need to be bought up, to have a proper owners to understand what food is all about, or football in this matter, to invest. Because if you're a business person, you would understand, if I invest money into this business, I want it to be successful. But we all know what the Glazers been all about is, but yeah, just using this as a cash cow, as an ATM machine. As long as we make top 4, we don't need to know about football. We appoint these people, like, whatever. We sit in Tampa Bay, Florida. By the way, we can't even manage the Buccaneers at the moment, and they're in crisis as well, and they're trying to call Glazers out. And definitely they need to sell, and they are going to sell, according to my opinion, because finances don't lie. Puppy, what's the mood in America after that Glazers Out protest?
Man,
Florida.
So I mean, it's just like one of those things where it's like, it's a good step in the right direction, but like I don't really feel like these Glazers feel the protest as much as we would like them to. You know, it's one of those that I feel like the next step should be flying a couple of like helicopters over the stadium. That's what we need to like be putting our
No, but
front,
they feel their own personal finances is in threat. And when your personal finances is in threat, then you look at it.
you
That's the
start really,
wallet.
it becomes a priority. That's true. And I'm more like feeling what Jamie was saying about just like let us keep losing will also help put pressure on them. And there's that side of the story too. If it just keeps on going downhill, then the stock prices will drop, and then eventually
Yeah.
they'll have to react.
But that's a question then it's basically, as a global fan base, what is the top of our priorities is to get new ownership in so we can start being a winning club. So would you then sacrifice this season to get new ownership in and finish like a bit off
if
top four?
if we're according to me, Mick, yes, I would want to be even. I wouldn't mind even being close to relegation zone if it
But not
means
being
next.
relegated, please don't
No,
be
but not
relegated.
being
No.
relegated, but close to close to Chelsea zone. Let's call that. There's relegation zone and Chelsea zone. I don't mind being close to Chelsea zone, and then the next season means like we have Sheikh Jassim. That would be a great outcome for me. But not every Man United fan is in that bandwagon.
Yeah. How about you,
Yeah,
Jarvis?
quick answer: 100%. Big fat yes. I would
Take Chelsea
sacrifice
zone.
the season down the drain. We could
Yeah.
finish 15th for what I care. No Europe next season, and the Glazers out. Yeah,
But then it's a hard sell as well. Of course, that I mean I can understand, because at the end of the day, when you get new ownership, you need to do the rebuild and everything else. So yeah, maybe you should just focus on the rebuild and get a new ownership, and then get back into the Champions League and Europa and all that stuff. Take 1 year off just to build.
Mm-hmm.
That will give you just time to just focus on the league, just on the league. I know we want to be in the Champions League, but if we're not fit and qualified, if we're not firing in all cylinders, we have no business to being in Champions League.
True. We're
And
just
I,
gonna
if
be
I
in that.
believe,
Yeah.
I believe there's going to be a wild card as well. Like, even 5 teams are allowed to qualify for next season.
I think a lot of Man United fans will wake up when we go against Galatasaray, just to speak a little bit about that game, and see the level of the European clubs in the Champions League. Galatasaray have a tremendous list of good players. I've been doing my research on them for tomorrow's Jarvis Corner. We will go through to Galatasaray, but they have players like Icardi, they have Cech, they have so many good players. Dries Mertens from Napoli, all of those players, we have seen them in the Champions League for years.
Hakim Ziyech injured, by the way.
Yeah, but he's one of those players, and we have a lot of. We will meet a great team, Galatasaray. So
Ziyech,
I think we will struggle, and we will understand the level of the Champions League. So
yeah, but
at the moment, I don't think it doesn't feel like we have something.
Wait. Some of them are senior old, players that just made the pass and they went on to retirement in Turkish league.
Some of them are not. They have the young Brazilian player who came from Lyon and
okay. Well, currently they have Hakim Ziyech. Currently they have Hakim Ziyech, Wilfred Zaha, Icardi, Mauro Icardi, the Italian Icardi.
Icardi. Yes.
Yeah, he scored 11 goals in 14 games this season.
Tete, Dries, Mertens, Sergio Oliveira, Kerem Dembe, Nombole, and Ndombele. They have Ndombele. We know Ndombele. Lucas Torreira, Arsenal ex Lucas Torreira, Angelino, Davison Sanchez, and so on and so on. They have good footballers.
That's a really solid team. It's a really experienced team that is actually very dangerous team when you look at it. It's one of those that has
but they drew Copenhagen as well,
yeah,
right?
It's one of those teams that have the potential to just have the teams where the balance is like none of them are good individually, but when they come together, Ndombele in there, Ziyech, what? Those guys could cook, Ndombele, they call him the Spurs reject, but that boy, when he gets the ball and he's on really good form, they could hurt us.
On Ndombele is a Spurs, Wilfred Zaha. We know Zaha, right, from Palace as well.
And Ndombele, he played the Champions League final for Spurs. He's a good player. Didn't he even play the World Cup final for France or the Euro final for France? So,
No,
you know,
I doubt it. In the France squad, but he's still experienced though.
But that's something we will take on Tuesday. Like, you know, we take it day by day. We just finished a loss. We will cover this tomorrow in tomorrow's special story. Of course, normally we have the United Experience Jarvis Corner and stuff like that. But, you know, this is going to be led by how we're going to get over the line with Glazers. So, of course, we're playing at Theatre Dream, which apparently is no longer a fortress since we lost yesterday against Crystal Palace, to be honest. But in summary, what we talked about, it's all about, like, you know, getting new ownership in, isn't it? Like, you know, that's what it is. I mean, of course, we have stories coming out as well that, you know, by Alex Turk, and also something like, you know, recycle news to say that United takeover Sheikh Yassim is to complete the Glazers this month. And that's coming on the back of end of, I think it was Neil Custis as well from The Sun. And just because it's Neil Custis, I mean, he's got sources. He's well connected within the club. But since he works for The Sun, everyone says, oh, it's The Sun, you know. Yeah. But theoretically speaking, and when you look at the overall timeline, this makes sense, right? We are in the, you know, they are in the financial trouble as they are. They need to sort of start cashing in, right? If there's one thing that the Glazers cares about, is money. That's the money, right? So they've been saying that, and we've been saying this on this channel as well, like, you know, the takeover will happen after the transfer window and this period of time, because it doesn't really make sense to have new ownership to have in the middle of a transfer window. But now that everything is completed, now you can sort of start working on the sales takeover. This also gives the 92 Holding Foundation to start speaking to the remaining 31% of the minority Class A shareholders to buy out on the premium as well. Because they can have an agreement, a purchase agreement with the Class B, which is the 69% shareholders of Glazers, but they are acquiring 100% of the overall purchase of Manchester United. So, yeah, I do expect something to come up within the next couple of weeks, you know, some major updates, because a lot of news outlets has been saying so as well. So this is what we can look forward to. And that ties into the previous question to say, like, you know, would you rather finish off top 4 and just get new ownership? And a lot of you said yes, because for me, that is 100% yes as well, you know, because since we are Manchester United fans, we want to win. Ten Hag wants to win as well, but we can never win with this current establishment. But with the new fresh legs, new owners, new capital, new investment in training ground, in professional medical assistance, upgrade everything, you will not have injuries.
Yeah.
Papi, you're nodding.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, it's time for us to upgrade. We need to get rid of these guys. I don't know what it's going to take, but something has to be done, and it has to be done fast. Like, I'm tired of this saga, man. It's been dragging and dragging and dragging. It's got more legs than it.
We have a question for you. Is this your birthday? Is this your birthday today?
Every day is my birthday.
Well, you just tricked Luan to send us a super chat to wish you birthday blessings, Papi.
Yeah, shout out to Luan. What did Luan say?
Birthday blessings to Papi, by the way. What's in the glass? Wishing you all the way best life and has to offer. Papi, don't lie to us. Is your birthday today?
No, it's not. It's not. What was in my glass was Man United tears after Crystal Palace game, and I've been drinking them to help me get through the day. So, you know.
Anyway. Luan, merci beaucoup for your super chat. Thank you so much.
It's not my birthday, but
when is your birthday? It was a fake birthday.
Yeah. You know, it's I do almost try and live every day like my birthday. That's what I encourage everybody to do.
Can you answer the question? When's your birthday?
31st of May. That
31st of May.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a happy birthday, delayed happy birthday then.
Happy belated, delayed, late substitution, edit time birthday.
25. Yeah.
And when's your birthday, Jarvis?
11th of July.
Oh, happy birthday. We already said happy birthday on this channel.
Nice. Happy belated.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't want to tell my age.
What is
my
yours?
birthday?
Yeah.
13th of October. in 12 days away from now, actually.
Okay. All right.
So we can have a birthday party.
Big celebration.
It's a celebration. It's a celebration.
In 12 days is my birthday, so I love October. It's like, I'm a October child. I'm autumn child.
Nice.
I'm a Libra. Every day is my birthday. It's my birthday. We're gonna party. It's my birthday. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I think that wraps up this Sunday roast. It's been a pleasure. I hope you're feeling a little bit better. It's like, a therapy session. Win, lose, draw. We're here to lick our wounds. We're here to look forward. And yeah, I mean, luckily we lost, and luckily we will be back on the train again, the gravy train, because we're playing Galatasaray on Tuesday at Old Trafford, and we will be here tomorrow to cover it as well, guys, and post-match and pre-match and watch-alongs and all that football power hour stuff, right?
We will be there. We will be there.
We will be there.
Yeah,
Book the
tomorrow
room.
we have Jarvis Corner, so tune in tomorrow night. I think we will go live, 9, 10?
No, the Chelsea game is on, so forget about that. You will go after the Chelsea game, so 10-ish, I would say, because a lot of people are going to watch Chelsea. So let's just go live after the Chelsea game. We can sort of also review that game, and we can talk about that. So, Poppy, welcome tomorrow if you're around as well.
Yes. We well, yeah, I will review the timing. I think if I'm able to hop on, obviously I will be.
Before we go, can we show us your beautiful surroundings? That looks absolutely amazing.
We're just like I think the Glazers live over there. No, this is just a nice sunny day, in the beautiful Americas. That's all.
Friday. Oh
Maybe
shit!
every day like it's your
Listen, Friday is the 13th on October.
No.
Oh, is it? Is it? No, I gotta check this out, Charlie. Are you trolling me? Actually, I'm born. Listen, guys, this is a fact. I was born Friday the 13th, October, Friday the 13th.
All right.
Maybe I'm the bad omen for our bad luck here at Manchester United. Maybe I should remove myself. I don't know. Is it? Like, let me check the calendar, guys.
I checked.
It is.
Wow.
Ooh. I actually was born Friday the 13th. Weird, huh?
Wild.
It's not. Anyway, guys, we didn't. We forgot to say how many likes and all that stuff. But anyway, if you guys are generous enough, if you're watching this post stream on Netflix or whatever you're watching on, don't forget, please, to hit the cheeky like.
Yes.
Because we had a beautiful Poppy in here showing you all the surroundings. To summarize what we had Jarvis coming in here. We had his child waving in the background as well, doing snow angels. And if we summarize what we spoke about today, we spoke about, like, what I said, the Michelin star chef, like Ten Hag, is trying to cook, but he doesn't get the right ingredients, injury players. We talk about the takeover. What matters for you fans is pretty much we don't care as long as we get new owners. We can skip top 4 and focus on the rebuild. We talked about the Rashford. We talked about the VR that needs to shape up or get the hell out of here. And what else did we talk about? That's pretty much it, right? And Galatasaray tomorrow. Galatasaray. So, guys, I hope you had a nice Sunday roast, whatever you had for dinner. I'm going to have my dinner right now, and I'm going to walk my dog, and I'm going to chill for the rest of the Sunday. But until then, guys, see you next time. Jarvis Cocker, follow Jarvis on Twitter at Bowley77. Go subscribe to Botswana's Poppy's channel, Football Power Hour. Yes, he lives here, but he has his own channel as well. Big up to all of you that came in from all around the world. It's been Mick Ruby, Jarvis Cocker, and Football Power Hour. Peace, love, and go
Bananas.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.